Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Director of Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Dr. Hidayatullah MSI, the Honorable Prof. Madya Dr. Fauziah Abdul Rahim from University Utara Malaysia, the Honorable Prof. Sema Gwin Dilna, EDD from Cotabato City State Polytechnic College, Philippines, the Honorable Professor Dr. Gunawan Suryoputro M.Hum from Universitas Muhammadiyah Prof. Dr. Hamka, Indonesia, the Honorable Dr. Pensri Jarunwanit, PhD from Konkan University, Thailand, the Honorable Professor Turaif Bakhodir Hatamovic from International University of Tourism, Silk Road and Samarkand State University, Uzbekistan, the Honorable Dr. Toto Wahyu Abadi MSI from Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Indonesia, the Honorable also the Chair of Committee of Icigr 2020, Dr. Sigit Hermawan MSI, the Honorable the Vice Rectors, the Deans, Lecturers, and all conference participants. Problems caused by coronavirus disease or COVID-19 have affected many lines of life. It's been almost a year. In some countries, it's been a year. We live with this pandemic which has not finished. Since the COVID-19 is not over, people nowadays live in new normal or new reality to follow the health protocols such as wearing masks, washing hands, and doing physical distancing. The objective is the economic conditions may be revived while the health condition can be maintained. Therefore, Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, in cooperation with UUM and UHAMKA, conduct the second International Conference of Intellectual and Global Responsibility, followed by participants from Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Uzbekistan, Thailand, and many other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing the theme, Science for Handling the Effects of COVID-19, Facing the New Normal and Improving Public Welfare, with honor and gratitude, welcome to the Icigr 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to the opening speech delivered by the Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Dr. Hidayatullah MSI, please.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in amma ba'du. The Honorable Professor Madya Dr. Fauziah Abdul Rahim from University Utara Malaysia, UUM, Malaysia. The Honorable Professor Sema Gwin Dilna, EDD, from Cotabato City State Polytechnic College, Philippines. The Honorable Professor Dr. Gunawan Suryoputro M.Hum from Universitas Muhammadiyah Profesor Dr. Hamka, Indonesia. The Honorable Pensri Jarunwanit, PhD from Konkan University, Thailand. The Honorable Professor Turaif Bakhodir Hatamovic from International University of Tourism, Silk Road and Samarkand State University, Uzbekistan. The Honorable Dr. Toto Wahyu Abadi MSI from Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Indonesia. The Honorable Dr. Sigit Hermawan MSI, Chair of the Committee Icigr 2020, and the Vice Rector, the Deans, Lecturer, and all participants. Welcome to Icigr 2020. Alhamdulillah, thanks Allah for the blessing and mercy, so we can attend this international conference on intellectuals global responsibility, Icigr 2020. This conference theme is Science for Handling the effect of COVID-19, facing the new normal and improving public welfare. We know that COVID-19 has hit almost all corners of the world. COVID-19 has affected various fields: health, education, social, economics, finance, politics, and others. All countries have made various efforts in various sectors, such as health, education, social, economics, and others. But the pandemic has not subsided and finished. Since the COVID-19 is not over, there is a policy so-called new normal or new reality, where people are asked to adjust the situations by the following the health protocols, such as always wearing masks, washing hands, and social distancing. The goal is the economic condition might be revived while the health condition can be maintained. To eliminate COVID-19 and find solutions to its effect are conducted research in various fields of sciences. Apart from that, there will be discussion, seminars, and conferences such as in this Icigr. We hope this conference will contribute to the settlement of COVID-19. Congratulations on joining this conference. I hope all of us are always healthy and in the protection of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Thank you. Nasrum minallah wa fathun qarib wa basyiril mu'minin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us. We are going to watch the Memorandum of Understanding between Umsida, Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, and 3 universities who have participated as co-hosts of Icigr 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the chair of the committee of Icigr 2020, Dr. Sigit Hermawan MSI. He is also the Director of the Research and Community Service of Umsida. The first is the Memorandum of Understanding between Umsida and Universitas Pakuan Bogor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Memorandum of Understanding from Umsida, and we would like to welcome the Head of International Relations of Universitas Pakuan Bogor to give a small speech. The Honorable Ms. Cucu Mariam MPD, the representation of Universitas Pakuan Bogor, please. Sekali lagi yang terhormat kepada Ibu Cucu Mariam MPD, the Head of International Relations Universitas Pakuan Bogor. Kami persilakan untuk memberikan sambutannya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yang terhormat Bapak Rektor Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo Umsida, yang terhormat para tamu undangan yang menghadiri acara International Conference ini, yang terhormat Bapak Ibu hadirin yang menghadiri acara ini. Mohon maaf, saya perwakilan dari Universitas Pakuan untuk menghadiri acara ini mewakili Pak Rektor Universitas Pakuan, karena hari ini beliau tidak bisa hadir karena ada acara di acara lain yang tidak bisa ditinggalkan. Dalam kaitannya dengan kerjasama dengan universitas lain, saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Umsida, karena sudah berkenan untuk mengundang kami menjadi salah satu fakultas MIPA untuk menjadi co-host di acara International Conference ini, dan juga memberikan kesempatan kepada kami untuk bisa bekerja sama dengan Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo atau Umsida dan juga universitas lain. Mungkin itu saja. Semoga acara kerjasama ini bisa terus ditindaklanjuti, dan saya merasa senang karena salah satu bentuk nyata dari kegiatan kerjasama ini adalah menghadiri atau menjadi co-host dari acara International Conference ini. Semoga di lain kesempatan kami bisa juga mengadakan acara kerjasama sebagai bentuk realisasi dari kerjasama yang sudah kita laksanakan hari ini. Itu saja sambutan dari saya. Terima kasih. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ibu. Well, the second memorandum of understanding is between Umsida and Universitas Ronggolawe Tuban.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Introduce, I am Rector Universitas PGRI Tuban. Thank you for attention and MUU Universitas PGRI Tuban with Synergies Seminar Internasional Icigr 2020. I hope MUU continues in Tridharma Perguruan Tinggi again. Thank you for very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Dr. Anda Supiana Dian Nur Cahyani MKes as the Rector of Universitas PGRI Ronggolawe Tuban. Ladies and gentlemen, the third MOU is between Umsida and Stikes Karya Husada Kediri. Kami persilahkan Ketua Stikes Ibu Ita Eko Suparni SSIT MKep. Baik, karena beliau sedang tidak di tempat, kita akan melanjutkan. Itulah tadi 3 kerjasama Bapak Ibu. Those all are the 3 memorandum of understandings between Umsida and 3 universities who has participated as the co-host of the Icigr 2020. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that these events will be valuable for all of us and give lots of benefits and advantages. That's why we are going to pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. In this chance, it will be led by Dr. Kumara Aji Kusuma, CIFP, MPhil A.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, let us bow our head for a moment. Pray to God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala so that our international conference can be precious to all of us. I will lead this prayer based on the teaching of Islam, and those who are not Muslims, you are pleased to pray according to each of your beliefs. Let us begin our prayer. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, hamdan yuwafi ni'mahu wa yukafi mazidah. Rabbana lakal hamdu kamajan bagi li jalali wajhikal karim wa azimi sultanik. Allahumma inna nas'aluka salamatan fid din wa afiatan fil jasad wa ziyadatan fil ilmi wa barakatan fil rizki wa tawbalan qoblal maut wa rahmatan indal maut wa maghfiratan ba'dal maut. Allahumma afir lana wali walidayna walil muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat innaka sami'ul qaribul mujibud da'wat ya qadiyal hajat. Oh Allah, today, Wednesday, November 11th, 2020, in this beautiful moment, we gather here to bring about an international conference of intellectual global responsibility 2020. The theme is Science for Handling the Effects of COVID-19, Facing the New Normal and Improving Public Welfare. Make this international conference as a useful science assembly, as a medium of sharing useful ideas, knowledge, and experiences of scholars, researchers, and students of various disciplines. May this conference we organize today benefit to our lives, broaden our knowledge, shine our ideas, and lead us to be successful, productive persons, which in turn will boost the dignity of our nations, and especially in contributing for ending of the COVID-19 pandemic. O Allah, guide and bless us, our hearts, our minds, with the light of your guidance. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities. Help us to speak our minds clearly. Help us to listen to each other, respect each other, love each other, so that we are included to the blessed persons. O Allah, protect us from unintended temptation, show us the right path, and give us knowledge and strength to perform good things. Equally, show us and make it clear the bad things, and give us knowledge and strength to avoid them. O Allah, you are the one who can fulfill our dua. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Subhanaka rabbika izzatil amma yasifun wa salamun al mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Kumara Aji Kusuma. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the opening ceremony of the Icigr 2020. Now it's time for conference. I believe everyone has been waiting this session. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the first session, we are going to listen to the presentation from Universitas Muhammadiyah Professor Dr. Hamka, Indonesia. It will be delivered by Professor Dr. Gunawan Surya Putra MH. The second presentation is from Cotabato City State Polytechnic College, Philippines. It will be delivered by Professor Sama Gwindirna ADD. And the third presentation will be delivered by Prof. Madya Dr. Fauziah Abdul Rahim from University Utara, Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, this session will be moderated by someone very special. Welcome, Mr. Wahyu Taufik MPD.
Thank you, Ms. Dian. I think that's too much, but I do appreciate for the time given. Before we start, let me check whether all the participants are there. Prof. Gunawan, Prof. Dina, and Prof. Fauziah. Are those speakers there already? Semuanya sudah? Okay, because we are 15 minutes before the program start. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very valuable occasion because we can finally meet and make at the seminar the second International Conference on Intellectuals Global Responsibility, or Icigr 2020, presented by Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. My name is Wahyu, and I will be your guide from the first until the last session of this keynote speaker. I feel so delighted here to meet you all, eager to engage with the issue that we face nowadays, which is about the need to share knowledge and idea on science for handling the effect of COVID-19, facing the new normal, and improving public welfare. Distinguished speakers, guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the online seminar series presented by Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, the second Icigr 2020.
Thank you.
Okay. This international seminar is the second seminar, Icigr, conducted by Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. However, it is the fifth series conducted by Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, University of Utara Malaysia, and UHAMKA since 2014. So instead of UMM, we have new co-hosts at the second Icigr, which are Khon Kaen University, Thailand, the Kota Batu City State Polytechnic College, or CCIPC, Philippines, and then Uzbekistan, which is the Icigr International University of Tourism and Samarkand State University. And we also have new local co-hosts, which are Stikes Karya Husada Kediri, Universitas PGRI Ronggolawe Tuban, and Universitas Pakuan. Thank you for your cooperation and support for this event. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the need of facing the new normal and improving public welfare during pandemic is just a wake-up call for many. We all surely hope that the pandemic will end, but most of us believe that the effect will remain there with different situation and condition. Various efforts have been made by all countries in various sectors, such as health, economics, social, and others. The new normal or the new reality is made to adjust the situation by following the health protocols, such as wearing masks, washing hands, and having social distance. The goal is the economic condition may be recovered, and while the health condition can be maintained. To eliminate the COVID-19 and find solution to its effect are endeavored through research in various fields in science. Hopefully, the cure can be found and the new situation can be adapted. Without further ado, let's start the keynote presentation session. The first presentation will be delivered by the Rector of UHAMKA, Prof. Gunawan. Thank you for coming, Prof. Gunawan. Thank you for making this session. Okay, Prof. Gunawan, you have 15 minutes to deliver the speech. 15 minutes is yours.
Okay, thank you, Pak Wahyu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to share my presentation. Can I share my presentation, please? Allow me to please, the operator, help me to. Can I share the screen, please? Okay, thank you.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sudah, Prof. Sudah, Prof. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you and to the host, especially to my colleagues, Director of Umsida, University of Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Bapak Dr. Icigr, and also my partner from the representative of Universitas Utara Malaysia, and also our partner from Philippines, from Kota Batu City State Polytechnic College, Philippines, and also the other partners. Good morning, all the participants. That is my great pleasure for me to be one of the speakers in this excellent conferences. As far as I'm known, as also the moderator just announced, this is the series of the conferences that we have a co-present so far. So in this opportunity, let me to present short presentation on this occasion. on the science for handling the effect of COVID-19 using normal and improving public aware. And I try to give my idea on the education aspect, and I try to adopt one of the technological pedagogy content knowledge for education in the disruption era plus. Ladies and gentlemen, as known that one of the crucial changes due to the era of disruption is the use of Internet of Things that replaces the mechanical skills, that is all activities which were used to be in operation conventionally by using mechanic, for instance, operated by use now operated by using advanced and digital technologies such as robot and digital devices. However, the impact on the education sector even have been severe when the COVID-19 has begun since the early 2020s in Indonesia especially. All schools and universities have to be closed due to the serious spread of unseen COVID-19. Students and teachers also have learning process from home by using internet. And yet not all school and university are able to afford financially due to the COVID-19. As a result, the COVID-19 become another factor besides disruption that threat the sustainability of universities to carry out the process of education. For this reason, I'm going to share my topic on this opportunity with the technological pedagogy content knowledge for education in this disruption plus. What is meant by disruption era plus? Disruption era plus refers to the sharp and sudden change of all activities, including education, from face-to-face to online mode due to the invisible threatening COVID-19, in which digital technology, big data, and creative and innovative human being play a crucial role in the walk of life. As known that in the Industry Revolution 4.0, the organization companies, including universities, may not save of their advanced and digital technology and their customers, partners, and students. They may keep on having communication face-to-face as usual, whereas the Industry Revolution 4.0 plus demands all of us not only to utilize technology information, and more important, also to make use of big data and a human being as role as well. So in this case, what I mean by disruption era plus is Revolution 4.4 plus now we have a COVID-19, and we believe that this impacts on education. As we know, before pandemic COVID-19, the seminar like this, the lecturing were carried out at a hotel classroom, face-to-face interaction. But due to the pandemic, all of them are now conducted online via website, Zoom, Google Meet, and the like. And this would force human beings to adapt in order that they keep on being involved in their activities. As a consequence, then this disruption path has challenging for us. To me, the education in the era of Industry Plus faces three at least challenges. The first, curriculum, and then innovation and creative teaching and learning, and output and outcome assessment. Curriculum is subject to change due to the change of critical condition in line with the demand of disruption era as well as a COVID-19. Normally, curriculum is reviewed and revised within 3 or 5 years, but today it is almost impossible. It's should be adaptable and adaptable according to the ongoing and fast development of education, which has to be in line with the demand of the stakeholders. Take example of the policy of Indonesian Minister of Education. Now have the launching of the program what we call as a freedom of learning that should be adopted by universities and a school. And the objective of this program is to expose the student to broaden their knowledge and skill outside their study program and a department. They are exposed and involved directly in any related activities, companies, communities, business, and the like. And the second challenge is, of course, is the learning process that I'm going to develop a little bit in this presentation. But before I pinpoint this my point today, I would like to give a comment on the what is meant by output and outcome assessment. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear participants, as we know that in our learning process, the objective and the goals of the assessment is not just product. Output refers to the product. For example, at the end of our curriculum, we give our student an examination and give the mark, a point, that is the output. What we mean is, what is the impact of the output? That is called outcome. So today, we have to develop our assessment system, not only stop only on the output, but we expect that based on the output that the student have earned, it will affect on their life, that is called outcome. But now I'm referring to our focus today, innovation and creative teaching and learning. In this opportunity, I would like to share that is the concept of the framework, what we call is the TPAC framework for teachers and knowledge. And I believe this is very relevant to our condition today, especially in the COVID-19. This concept was proposed by Kostler, Mashira, and Chen in 2013. This framework considered as the heart of good teaching with technology. We know that teaching with technology is very complicated for us, especially for teachers at the remote areas. Considering that new challenges and it is new, then therefore we have to give a solution of that. And we know that some technologies seem to be more opaque to teachers and offer less stability than more traditional technology. So what is the concept of TPAC? There are three, according to this model. There is the first, the teachers have to relate, okay, have to know the relation between the content, pedagogy, and technology, of course. As we just mentioned that now we have online learning, digital learning, and others. Therefore, the teachers have to learn by heart the technology and combine with the content, that is the material or the subject, and the pedagogy, that is the skill that the teachers have to. First, content knowledge. In the content knowledge, the teachers have to extend their knowledge. That is refers to the extensive knowledge of online learning content and know or even the assessment. So the teachers have to design and develop their material into online teaching strategies as well as the assessment. The teachers have to be able to design and develop online learning material that fit with the learning syllabus. And of course, since it is online, the teachers must have a knowledge on the ethics and copyright issues, since it is the ethical issues. When the teachers have to design the content or the subject delivered into online, they have to also know the ethic, how to design that. So in this case, the teachers have to know the concept and theories, how to develop the material, and how to develop that material into online learning. And then the second one is what is meant by pedagogical knowledge. The point here is that students have to understand how the student learn through the online. In order to know the student learn, of course, the teachers have to select the approaches, what we call is a teaching approaches. And I believe that all teachers have known that concept. And then based on the approaches, the student have to select based on the different or variety of theories of learning to adopt and to adopt it in order to suit to the student learning style. And of course, finally, the teachers have to select the method of assessment online. So in pedagogic knowledge, the student must have a good understanding of learning theories, learning style, the nature of online learning, and the nature of online interaction. The second, the teachers have to be able to manage online classroom. As we know that in the platform, there are some menus, some point that students have to be familiar when they conduct or manage the online classroom. The next one, the teachers, related to pedagogic knowledge, the teachers have to be able to maintain and support interaction and collaboration online. And the teachers have to be able to design and develop online learning interaction and instructional strategies. The next TPAC model is what we call technological knowledge. The point here is that the teachers have to understand the way technologies are used. Therefore, the teachers have or must have a good knowledge on the nature of learning technology and the update, the ability, the benefit, the limitation of technology, the tool, and so on. And the second, the teachers have to be able to access and use of technological resources and tools. For example, email, internet browser, learning management system, text, videos, chat application, and others. And the next skill that the next aspect that the teachers have to be familiar with the technological knowledge is the ability to design and develop electronic material. And the teachers have to be able to solve technical problem or technical thing related to the online learning. And this is the example that the teachers have to acquire in order to use the technology combined with the content and the pedagogical knowledge for handling the situation that we have right now due to the pandemic 19 or COVID-19. But I believe even after pandemic is over, I believe that the learning, distant learning, learning online like this will be more and more challenging, interesting for our students. That is what my presentation today to share in this conference. Again, thank you to all of you, and again, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Gunawan. It was a very valuable speech, particularly on how to face the disruption era as the challenge in education, some of them by using TPAC framework and technological approach. For all participants, if you have something to ask or comment to say, please write it on Q&A available on live chat. Don't forget to mention your name, institution, and for whom your question is addressed. The question and answer session will be open once after all presenters finish their presenter on each session. So let's move to the next keynote speaker. He is the new elected president of Cotabato City State Polytechnic College, Philippines. Umsida has cooperation with CCSPC Philippines since 6 or 7 years ago. and I personally know him before he became the president of this college. For your information, I used to call him brother before he became the president of CCSPC, of course. And Umsida and CCSPC have very mutual cooperation since then. The former president of CCSPC have become the first presenter for the first Icigr, and now it is his turn. Seems like continuing the tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Sema Ginaldina from Kota Batu State Polytechnic College, Philippines. Good morning, Prof. Dilna.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, and to all viewers and participants of this very momentous and timely occasion on International Conference on Innovative Research.
Assalamualaikum. Yeah. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam. Still handsome. Joke.
It's very good finally to see you again. Congratulations, yeah, for the new elected as the president of CCSPC.
Yeah, I believe you have met me, and I let you went to my house, and you're my first foreigner visitor,
Yeah.
as I said.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, Prof. Dina. I'd like to remind you that you have 15 minutes to make your presentation.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Give me 1 minute to set my presentation. Thank you, brother, and the viewers.
Yeah, please. While waiting for Prof. Dilna setting his presentation, I'd like to remind you again for all participants, if you have something to ask or comment to say, please write it on Q&A available on live chat. Don't forget to mention your name, institution, and for whom your question is addressed. The question and answer session will be open once after all presenters finish their presentation on each session. Okay, Professor Dilna, 15 minutes is yours. Please.
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. To the Honorable General Chairman of the Second International Conference on the Intellectuals' Global Responsibility of Umsida 2020, Dr. Sigit Hermawan, to the honorable and active foreign partners and speakers of this event from different countries of the global community, namely Madam Fauzia Abdur Rahim of the University of Utara, Malaysia, Dr. Pensri Jorin Rahim Warit, Kon Kain, University of Thailand, Professor Dr. Unawan Soryaputro M. Home of the Universitas Muhammadiyah Indonesia, Dr. Tutuk Wahyu Abadi of the Universitas Muhammadiyah Sudiarjo of Indonesia, and Dr. Terai Bakudir Hatamovic, Professor of the Silk Road International University of Tourism and Samarkand State University of Uzbekistan. The moderator of this spectacular event, Wahyu Taufik of Umsida, my brother, panel of reviewers, international researchers and participants, online viewers and listeners, friends, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. May the peace and blessings of the Almighty God be with us in this very meaningful affairs of global intellectuals. Before anything else, I would like to extend my heartfelt and warmest gratitude to the organizers of this meaningful activity, chaired by Dr. Sigit Hermawan, for the opportunity of inviting us in the Philippines and my colleagues to participate in being one of the co-hosts, first of its kind, in this scientific arena. Indeed, it is my great honor and privilege to become a part of this very remarkable and memorable relative to the observance of this much-awaited event, the second International Conference on Intellectuals' Global Responsibility, Umsida 2020, with the theme, Science for Handling the Effects of COVID-19, Facing the New Normal and Improving Public Welfare. Before I further proceed, please allow me to point three important matters to consider in consonance with this global affair. First is on reminding all of us to apply systematic procedure in overcoming the effects of coronavirus. Second is on the application of devising scheme to enhance public service for the benefit of the people in general. As far as the science of handling the effects of the coronavirus is concerned, let me share you the good news that over millions of people around the world have survived the horrendous effects of this virus, thanks to the specialists coming from various disciplines for their expertise and collaborative efforts in fighting the effects of the pandemic. Research, which is the systematic investigation into the study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions, plays a vital role in pacifying the outbreak of these unexpected and rapid changes that prop up in our global environment. In the name of research, tremendous knowledge and remedies have been discovered to combat this virus, and many opportunities have been manufactured because of this disease. Hence, the saying that goes, behind a road lies an opportunity, applies best in this scenario. Going back to the second point which I have cited earlier, it is really indispensable for us to apply logical strategies in facing the new normal condition. One best practice is on the trending virtual programs like what is happening now in our international conference. We can still see, hear, and interact with one another through this virtual conference, reaching each other. We can still learn and share ideas and expertise even if we are in our comfortable homes. This is a strategy by which technology, as one product of research, has become a way of life of the people in all strategies and in all walks of life. It is just a matter of logical and collaborative actions to sustain efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity, even if we are under lockdown scheme. Research undertakings have contributed a lot in the formulation of various strategies to live and adapt the environment in a new normal world. Researchers around the world have been working dramatically, and billions of money have been spent in order to come up with the cure for COVID-19, which have caused a great deprivation, agony, frustration, hopelessness, pain, sufferings, isolation, hunger, financial loss, displacement, and other social, physical, emotional, mental, moral, and financial problems. Fortunately, as we enter the fold of the new normal and going deeper and deeper into its threshold, gracefully and optimistically, we can perceive the light shining and smell the scintillating lullabies of the sound coming from the storm, whispering a beautiful farewell and welcoming the brightness effects of sunlight, meaning behind the storm lies a fertile soil for production. Pointing back to the third issue which I have cited previously, which is on the necessity of devising scheme to enhance public services for the benefit of all. Research is the best answer on the creation of innovative ideas and applications for the betterment of life. Verily, public service is a public trust. Service to people is service to God. Thus, we need to take advantage of improving our services to the people by conducting research wherein the output can be disseminated and utilized for the production of new and innovative products of services that can help the global community overcome the unfavorable effects of the COVID-19 disease. More importantly, the onset of this disease should not hinder us to perform efficiently, effectively, and productively. This should bring us more into the acquisition, creation, and application of concepts and experiences that would capacitate us to constantly seek solutions to our problems. We should learn and understand that the reality of our existence in this cohort is coupled with challenges. Nonetheless, in every challenge, there is a solution. Indeed, research begins with a problem and ends with a problem. This cyclical motion of such challenge shall make to become more research-oriented. Seeking knowledge is research. Solving problem is research. Scientific investigation is research. Hence, research is really a way of life which we cannot go away with, but to embrace it. In the academy and as educators, our main functions are not only concentrated in instruction, but also concentrated in research, extension, and production. Confining ourselves in one function and trying to master it solely does not make us grow holistically. It will just only throw us into the pit of uncertainty. Therefore, my dear viewers, colleagues, and listeners all over the world, let us not forget to live with the purpose of extending our support for the betterment of life. This can be done through constant learning because education is a continuous process of learning and navigating our environment for the solution of problems and production of concepts that would lead us into successful people who are the vicegerent on earth. Before I end my speech and my presentation, I would like to reiterate the points which I have mentioned earlier. Firstly, applying systematic methods in overcoming the effects of COVID-19. Secondly, apply logical strategies in facing the new normal environment. And thirdly, devise schemes to embrace delivery of public services for the benefit of all creators. All of this could be achieved through research. These concepts can be summarized into three phases that define the qualities of a research: scientific, logical, and service-oriented. Now, allow me to express the Islamic salutation of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And more power to everyone, inshallah. We shall see each other again in the third International Conference of Intellectuals Global Responsibility, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Dinay. Yes, we do hope we can see you again someday in Umsida, at least to continue the tradition, like the visit of Prof. Damang, a previous president several years ago.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, sir. And we are just waiting for the normal situation that we could fly all over the world, especially in Indonesia, with my officers and my faculty members. We are very much interested to visit University Muhammadiyah, inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Okay, now let's move to the third presenter, Associate Professor Fauzia Abdurrahim from UUM. And at the moment, she is the Dean of the School of Education and Modern Languages. She attended Umsida several months ago, of course, before the pandemic. And some delegation from Umsida also has visited UUM several times, including our rector, lecturers, and students. We also have some students who have joined Students Mobility program there. And as I told you, UUM is one of the main reasons behind the international seminars that we are having now. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Fauzia. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Pak Wahyu and everyone. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you again.
Yes, although virtually.
I personally say sorry for misspelling writing of your name here and there during the publication of this seminar.
It's all right. As long as everybody understand, it's hamba Allah yang berjaya. You know, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Prof. Fauzia. As you known before that you have 15 minutes to present your speech. So before you start, let me inform you to all participants again that please write your question or comment in live chat, and then when we will open the question and answer session, right, all participants finish their presentation. Prof. Fauzia, time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Allow me to share my slide. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Again to everyone, you as well as the respective keynote speakers, the distinguished keynote speakers. I'm actually very honored to be one of them. And my gratitude to Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo for inviting me to present at this conference entitled International Conference on Intellectual Global Responsibility. I think it's a very timely conference, especially in this very daunting situation that the whole world is facing now. So like the respective keynote speakers before me, Prof. Gunawan from UHAMKA and Prof. Sima Guni Dilna from Philippines, they have actually presented based on their expertise, and I shall try to do the same for mine. So the title is actually to look at the sustainability of providing education in this time of needs. Well, before the pandemic happened, largely the whole world were relatively happy. In 2018, this is actually the world life expectancy in terms of happiness. We were relatively happy in 2018 despite the challenging world. Yeah, we had some challenges, but it wasn't that bad. But and in fact, in terms of the ranking, yeah, of course, the first few top countries will be the Nordic countries, maybe because of the temperature and the weather. Malaysia and everywhere else, the countries in the Southeast region, especially among this region, is about 80 of 156. So that's not too bad. But whether or not it is a true measurement of our happiness, that's another issue altogether. And then during that time, we also had problems with employment. We had problems with ensuring that our graduates were actually getting employment. And there were lots of things that we had to do in order to make sure that we were able to provide the right curriculum, the right delivery, the right assessment in order to produce the right candidate for the global market. So the world was already VUCA. VUCA here means it's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, it's ambiguous. Some of our students, they've already learned one program or one discipline, ended up doing business, doing something that's not even related to what they were trained for. So we were handling the VUCA world, and then the COVID-19 came knocking on our door. So in terms of the COVID, how it affected the whole world, well, it did affect very much. And to this day, to this moment, in fact, in UUM itself, some of us are actually working from home because of the CMCO, the condition movement control order. So we have not solved this problem yet. And we, on top of all the other problems that we have, we're having to deal with this issue, this pandemic. It has affected, well, there are research to show that it has affected the anxiety and the depression level. So in terms of mental health, there are problems, yeah? Although this is the US data, we have not got from the Southeast Asian data, but to look at this as an example of how it has affected the population, yeah, the greatest population in terms of anxiety and depression. And if you're looking at the age range and the kind of anxiety that's happening, we can see that it's among the young ones, it's among the teenagers, not the perhaps it's because the teenagers are actually having to face the problem, you know, the fact that they have to search for jobs, the fact that they have to now find ways to survive in this very, very much serious crisis. And even the Director General of WHO actually has indicated that the number of suicidal attempts made by the adolescents between the age of 15 to 20, well, not adolescent and young adults between the ages of 15 to 29 were seriously alarming, yeah, for both male as well as female. But that's not all bad news. We have one good news, hopefully, yeah, alhamdulillah, I would say, because Pfizer has just announced that there is a vaccine, and the beauty part of the news is it's also being developed by Turkish-born Muslims, namely Dr. Özlem Tureki and his wife, actually, Dr. Ugur Sahin, or maybe, sorry, the other way around, Dr. Ugur Sahin and his wife, Dr. Özlem Tureki. So what I see them doing is actually, they have the determination and the compassion towards contribution to mankind. They were trying to make sure that what seems like a meaningless life becomes extremely meaningful, knowing that life will be back to normal, inshallah, once we have the vaccine. And that is actually the contribution of science that we are actually looking for in this day of age. So how do we connect that to the higher education? These people were taught by someone. They have actually attended higher education in at one point of their life. So we do have a very, I mean, when I say we as in people in the higher education do have a very important role to play in order to make sure that we continuously become determined and continuously become compassionate in ensuring that education still can proceed as usual, although it is not normal anymore. So that's where I think if you have listened to what Prof. Gunawan was actually saying, he was actually talking about the importance of online and digital learning and distance learning. I think he's right. It is going to be here to stay even after the pandemic is over. And we've got to make sure that we are ready for it. We are moving towards it, and we're continuously making improvement about it. So when we talk about alternatives to provide education, there are three. The synchronous, which is actually what we're doing right now. That means I'm in Malaysia at this point of time and you're in your respective places, in respective countries, can listen to me immediately. So that's synchronous. Asynchronous will be tasks that are given or materials that are given for the learners to actually read on their own or do on their own, and they can come back and discuss during the synchronous activities. And also realizing that there is more to it than this. I mean, if we continue to do this for the next 5 years, it will be dead boring. So we've got to make sure that we are also ready for AI, which is actually artificial intelligence. That can actually encourage students to become interactive in the classroom and do not disappear when you are talking to the computer. And they can become engaged. And that's what education is all about, to ensure that learning we are all engaged, because we are bound and by with this sustainable development goals, which says that we have to ensure that we can provide quality education regardless of the situation. So if we're talking about curriculum of the future, it is actually a future that embraces the virtual world, like what we're doing right now. It's the virtual world. We meet each other, but we meet each other in a virtual setting. And though it is virtual, never forget the real world. We cannot detach ourselves from what's really happening out there. And it requires educators, like lecturers and faculty members, to actually curate and create a lot of interesting online resources that are engaging for their students, so that the students don't feel bored. And the curriculum has got to be flexible and personalized, because we're talking about individual differences here. Not everyone can sit in front of the computer for more than 3 hours, some not even more than 30 minutes. So there must be some ways in which we can cater to the divergent of our students in order for us to provide education and to cater to their needs. Of course, with the right curriculum, there must be engaging delivery and meaningful assessment. So regardless of whether it is online or face-to-face, I think whether it's present, past or future, I think we are constantly having to make sure that we understand it is the students who is more important than anything else. So it's what they learn and what they do and how they understand is crucial. And if we are able to connect what's happening in the real world in our classroom, it will help them become, they can transfer whatever that they're learning in the classroom into the real world. And the lessons must not only be interesting for the students to do, but also exciting for the instructors to conduct. So if the instructors themselves are bored with the lessons, chances are the students are also going to be bored. So we don't want that. And what we want during the classroom is, even though if it's online or face-to-face, is actually to have interaction, because what the students are thinking is more important. And we're just merely a guide, a facilitator in the learning process. And of course, when you're talking about assessment, paper and pencil test is not the only type of assessment. There are various ways of assessing students' learning, and that's where alternative assessment comes in. They can be assessed through portfolio, through lots of other interesting ways. Yeah, and of course, even if you can do dynamic assessment, that will be even brilliant. So I've got some quotes that I like there. Maria Montessori says, a good teacher is when they know that children are actually working. So you know that you have done something good. Yeah, and the fact that the students are actually working without you around. So you know that you have done something good. And Albert Einstein says, education is not the learning of facts. So it's not about memorizing. So forget about, I mean, if you can't do paper pencil tests, it's not the end of the world, because what is more important is the training of the mind. So doing alternative assessment can help you to assess the mind of the students. So when we're talking about landscape of the blended learning, what do we need to consider? We need to look at what will be the audience, who are the learners, what they have got, what learning targets that they need to achieve. And as I mentioned just now about personalized learning, so if we can actually encourage or design in such a manner that self-paced learning is possible, that will be also good, because if you've got video recorded of your lecture, the students can actually revisit many times depending on their level. Creative solutions to delivery of lessons. Yes, the lecturer has got to be very creative in doing that. Getting feedback from the students in terms of when you're using digital, especially Web 2.0 technology, you are bound to get a lot of data, right? But having the data in your computer is not good. The good thing is when you are able to analyze those data and do something about it, right? And of course, what we're happening right now, as what was mentioned before, that we are actually fast forwarding future to the present, we are talking about the borderless classroom. So more money should be spent on technology, how it can be used for delivery and assessment rather than building bricks and mortar. And of course, regardless of whether it is online or face-to-face, collaborative learning is crucial, because no one man lives alone. We live in a society. So the more we are able to collaborate in when we are learning, when we were trained in the university, and when we leave and join the real world, it will help us to blend in well. And other models that we can actually look when you're doing blended learning, there's so many. So you can actually choose which one you want, whether it is online, whether it's a la carte, whether it's enriched with virtual model. That means you're using the AI and virtual reality. You can actually use flex model, the rotation model, where you rotate inside and outside of classrooms, and what you learn, whether it is in the classroom or in the lab. As well as the flipped classroom, which is actually the most common model used for blended learning. The next, apart from the delivery, will be the inspirational educators. Now, you've got the right curriculum, you've got the right delivery, and you've got you know what to do in terms of assessment, but if you don't have an inspirational educators, people are still going to sleep. So having the right inspirational educators who can actually model determination, so that people are determined, regardless of the situation, they're determined to contribute to the society, and model compassion, so that they understand that their responsibility as human in this world is actually to make other people's lives better. So then we can create more people who will contribute, to the world and reduce the mental health problems that we have. And I kind of like all the quotes that I wrote here. I shared here are examples of what inspirational educators do. They realize they cannot see it's not like someone who actually planted the durian tree. Now in Malaysia it's very, very famous with the Musang King and all that. If you plant the durian tree, in 5 years time you can have the fruit. But in terms of human, if you are an inspirational educator, you do not know when your students are going to become someone great, so you cannot see the fruit immediately. You probably will see that 20 years from now, when you yourself have forgotten that you're actually part of the journey. So education is about motivating your students, about showing them the right way of dealing with their problems and anxieties, and handling them, and modeling, as I said just now, modeling determination and modeling compassion. As for the learners, I think if we go back to what the messenger Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, that someone who's actually in the path of searching knowledge, there are lots of doors to paradise for the person. So that is actually the virtue of the scholar. So by helping the students understand, by first understanding learners and make the learners understand the beauty of knowledge and what it potentially does and can do. So the knowledge that they have is not just to pass the exam. The knowledge that they have is actually for them to contribute to their society, to help solve real world problems that will make their life become not only great in this dunya, but also in the hereafter. So to understand one's capacity to learn and what one is capable to do is a result of becoming learned. So that's why becoming learned is very special, not only here, but also in the eyes of Allah. Yeah. And the model determination and compassion so that they can actually contribute to the world, as I mentioned from the beginning. So in conclusion, despite the pandemic, what we need to do is we shall strive to provide quality education sustainably. That means we cannot use what happened in the pandemic or what happened because of the COVID and because we cannot meet our students as an excuse for not providing quality education. Because developing the right curriculum for the future is important. Engaging delivery and alternative assessment is crucial. Being inspiring educators will help your students to become engaged in their learning and at the end of the day, become developed. So I know it is not an easy task, but when there is love and passion, nothing is a bit of a trouble and there is always time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Fauzia. Thank you very much. While listening to your presentation, watching the slide diagram, especially the first slide, I think I understand why the seminar on happiness in Indonesia is so popular. For some reason, it is a high demand service. Indonesia belongs to a not a really happy country, based on your slide there. Okay. Before I make the conclusion, let me check the question and answer live chat. Okay, there is one question from Utami to Prof. Selma Dilna. Let me read it for you, Prof.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mental illness is one of the effect from COVID-19, including social, economical, and healthy. In this situation, we must do physical distancing with other, and we can do activities like usual we can do before this pandemic come. Because of that, I believe that all of us get bored when we must still in our home. We cannot hang out with our friend. We cannot do the face-to-face study in our college, and we cannot work as usual. So he wants to ask, I think she is a lady, what is your tips for us, especially for teenagers to handle that stress of boredom?
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm happy to hear the question. In our institution and other institutions in the Philippines, and in particular, the Cotabato City State Polytechnic College had undergo, and previously I issued a memorandum on a mental health break. This mental health break is an opportunity of our students, faculty members to break the monotony, for them to relieve from different stress and other anxieties and bad experiences, loneliness, isolations brought by the pandemic. And this is very relevant and significant to our teen students so that they may not commit suicide because of the issue on the COVID-19 that brought bad experiences, isolation, and on the new normal. Without residential and face-to-face classes and meetings with with their classmates and teachers, and so we undergone mental health break. My colleague, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Yulna. Prof. Fauzia, perhaps you can add the answer. You have explained in your slide, actually. The question is how to, what is your tip for us, especially for teenagers, to handle the stress and boredom during the COVID-19?
Well, that's why I think it's important for the instructors to also model good ways of helping students to cope with their problems. Listening to them is one way of understanding what their problems are, because it's only when you understand what the person is actually going through, then you're able to guide. But as individual, depending on your background, your religious background, I think if you're talking about in Islam, we always go back to our religion, right? And no matter what the situation is, we should go back to the Quran, what the Quran is actually teaching, so that we can find answers and we can find solace, yeah, in dealing with all this problem, because it's not something something easy for us to handle, but that's the reason why we need to talk to people. So either you talk to people, so that means instructors must also learn. You can't just say, oh, this one I can't deal. I'm teaching management. You go and speak to the counselors. No, everyone has got to become counselors. Everyone who understands their own students will have to take the responsibility to help the students when they are having problems. Not to say that what you're dealing is not important, because what my curriculum is more important than what you are feeling. No, that's not right. Because as instructors, regardless of what we're teaching, the students are important. The students is actually the one who's actually, how should I say, our motivation. All right, our motivation in order for us to help. And that's the reason why we need to listen to them and help them when they need it. But for the students themselves, as I said just now, depending on your religious background, always go back to get your strength and your answers from your own religious background, which means in my case is the Quran.
Thank you very much, Prof. Fauzia. One more question, I think, from a student named Sri Chachi. Can we conduct an experimental method during COVID-19? I believe she is a student, and as you know that sometimes we cannot do experimental method because the school is not there, the student is not in the classroom. But the main question is that actually, can we do the experimental method during this pandemic? But perhaps Prof. Fauzia.
What kind of experimental is that? If you're talking about lab work with lots of acid hydrochloric and whatever.
Yeah. The question is not quite well. Perhaps about conducting an experimental research to the students at the class.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if it's a social science-based experimental, social science-based experimental design, I think that's still not that bad. It's just that you have to change the face-to-face scenario to the online scenario. But if you're talking about really pure science-based experimental design, that's going to be a problem. That's why I think if I can share in Malaysia, what we do is those students who are actually either they're very technical or they come from the science base, which really needs the lab, to do their research. Only they can come back to the university when others are staying at home and doing it online. So as I said, at the moment, we do not have any other alternatives for the science, pure science-based experimental lab, because we don't have those chemicals at home, right? And it's dangerous anyway. So that's the reason why, as I mentioned just now, in depending on where you are and depending on the university, whether they are able to allow the students to come back to continue with their experimental design, their research. But social science, I wouldn't think that it's going to be a bit challenging, but it's not impossible.
Yep. Okay, that's it, I think. No more question. Thank you very much. There are so many valuable points and information for the first session. However, let me highlight a few here. That first, technology around us already provides convenience. It gives us speed, cuts the distance, and the system is able to make the learning process easier, faster, and shorter. The need of using online technology during pandemic is just a wake-up call for many. We are surely hope that the pandemic will end, but most of us believe that the extent of technology in education will remain there, even larger, bigger, and stronger with different shape and models. At the end, technology is not the only answer, but it must be supported by all stakeholders, including the school, the teachers, student, as well as the government. And most important is the sentence that was said by Prof. Fauzia. Pandemic is not the excuse to reduce the quality of education. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you for all presenters. Thank you, Prof. Gunawan. Thank you, Prof. Dilna. And thank you, Prof. Fauzia. Let's give a big applause for those presenters.
Thank you very much. Thumbs up.
Thank you very much. We'll see you soon again. We'll see you again.
Yes, yes.
But Wahyu, I will try to answer the questions. Some of the questions are actually they're there in the chat room, so I will stay a little bit to answer the questions.
Oh, please. I
will just I will just reply the chat.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
Di mana? Mana? Ada, saya nggak lihat. Di share di mana? Oh ini, oh ya. I want to ask Miss Fauzia, among the many types of blended learning, which one is the best?
It's okay, Pak Wahyu. I will send directly to them. The question, I will reply to them directly. So you can continue.
Good. Very nice of you. Right. Because I cannot read. I just found it here. Okay. Thank you,
it's all right.
Fauzia.
You can continue. Thank you.
I'll do it. Thank you very much. Okay. Now let's move to the second session. There will be Associate Professor Toto Wahyu Abadi from University of Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, and Associate Professor Pensri from Khon Kaen University, Thailand. Sadly, Professor Turef from Icigr International University of Tourism and Samarkand, Uzbekistan cannot join today because of COVID-19, and currently he is hospitalized since yesterday. Let's hope and pray he will recover soon. So without further ado, let me invite Associate Professor Toto. He is one of the lecturer here from University of Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, particularly from the Department of Communication. Mr. Toto, are you ready? How are you? Okay. Okay, Mr. Toto, 15 minutes, time is yours. Sudah. Oh, ada apa ya? Oh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Rector Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo, Dr. Hidayatullah, Honorable Keynote Speech, Profesor Dr. Gunawan Suryo Putro from UHAMKA, Profesor Sema Ginadilna from Philippines, Dr. Fauzia Abdurrahman from UUM, Profesor Turef Pakodir Hatamafik from Uzbekistan, and Dr. Pansri Jarunmanit from Thailand. Honorable ladies and gentlemen of participant Icigr second edition 2020. I please permission to explain theme participatory communication in prevention under COVID-19 pandemic in the adaptation of new habits. I started discussing participatory communication from a news report in the online media on 12 July 2020. The headline of the news need, the headline of the news report, Jokowi asked his staff to improve communication in handling COVID-19. Pak Jokowi asked his staff to use participatory communication in handling COVID-19. The question now is what participatory communication? One of the keys to a good handling pattern regarding COVID-19 during the new habit adaptation period is participatory communication. What exactly is participatory communication? Participatory communication is community-based communication that aims to accommodate the interests of the community and provide accurate and correct information. To increase participatory communication, it is necessary to provide media access. Media accessibility is very important because it can increase awareness, confidence, local strength, and community participation in dealing with existing problems, including the prevention of the COVID-19 pandemic. Enggak ada semua. Maju. Oh. Oh. Bisa. Next. Appropriate media access during the new habit adaptation period is the government-based social media. Through social media, the government can develop participatory communication that prioritize
public engagement, namely interactional communication between the government and the community regarding important issues of preventing COVID-19 during the new habit adaptation period. The government can also provide education the public not to panic, be anxious, afraid of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as people's understanding of the importance of social and physical distancing, use of masks, washing hands with water and soap. Health service education directs people to their website and landing page for the latest available health information. Market innovative service such as health care social fund service, posting of case information, photos, and research with permission, share reviews and testimonials of recovered patients, and provide and provide support among Indonesian citizens in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. 3. The government can counter issues that develop in the community or hoax information that is widely disseminated through social media such as WhatsApp, Twitter, hashtag, and mention. For the reason, it is necessary to strengthen the availability of social media access, develop human resources capacity, and improve infrastructure. This participatory communication does not only involve elements of government and society, but also academia, private sector or industry, and the media. Participatory communication is what is able to create an integrated public communication system based on pentahelix. Pentahelix communication adaptation period. This pentahelix communication explains the dynamics of the relationship between the government, society, academia, private or industry, and the media regarding the issues of the COVID-19 pandemic. The dynamic relationship can be seen in the government's efforts to interact with the community through social media e-government as a public space to obtain input or information, aspirations, needs, and hopes that the public wants to make Indonesia free of COVID-19. The most important thing in pentahelix communication is the feedback on message on the issues themselves and coordination. Participatory communication emphasizes four main things, namely, the message conveyed can be understood by the community and not confusing. Trust developing, the information submitted must be science-based. Coordination. Many hypotheses, coordination in the context of the organization or government is important to talk about, but not too important. During the adaptation period for new habits for the prevention of COVID-19, participatory communication between the central government, local government, and government with the community did not go well happening. Public communication that happened is misinformation and confusing the community. Successful prevention of COVID-19 Indonesia versus public participation. As long as there is no COVID-19 drug or vaccine, one of the best ways to prevent the COVID COVID-19 pandemic is to move people to participate in handling COVID-19 and adapt to new new habits, and namely always wearing masks when outside the home, maintaining social and physical distance, and always wash your hands with soap and water. Active cases of COVID-19 in Indonesia have decreased 13.78% from the world average. The cure rate has improved 82.84%, and the COVID-19 death rate is still high than the world average of only 2.5%. The data shows that in Indonesia, the COVID number tends to decline. In Europe, the COVID-19 figure has risen again. Effective communication to promote community e-participation. How is Indonesia community participation in prevention of the COVID-19 pandemic in adaptation of new habits? Icigr and used to represent the level of public participation in Indonesia in prevention of COVID-19, including law. In particular, with the social distancing and stay-at-home approach. While countries like Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, Vietnam, the level of public participation in prevention of COVID-19, including high relative. Low public participation in Indonesia in prevention of COVID-19 too. 1. Community culture. Community culture that tends to not support social distancing. This is because of the cohesivity of group, bahasa Indonesianya, and engagement of the community in Indonesia tend to be high. Social relation importance of grievance between family and friends make social distancing cannot be done strictly and difficulty of discipline. Social distancing is strictly and discipline can only be applied if there are expressed and clear policy and punishment. 2. Low level of public literacy concerning COVID-19. This is exclusive because COVID-19 comes and spreads in a very fast and suspicious condition to be a complex condition when faced in this very fast and complex distribution conditions. Education to the community about COVID-19 is not easy to do. 3. Less disciplined implementation of government policy in handling COVID-19. The social distancing and stay-at-home approach is not provided to be implemented by the community voluntarily. To ensure social distancing was good, the government must make a policy and punishment. Community forced to preach the social distancing approach. This is because there is no horizontal social mobility restriction policy. The informal sector working community must remain to meet its life needs. There are 5 levels of e-participation. The most basic level of e-participation is information. This is figure basic e-participation, e-information. E-information, the government provides information to the public about COVID-19 objectively. Developments in the spread of COVID-19, mortality rates, cure rates, and public education to increase literacy to prevent COVID-19. Level 2, level 2, e-consultation can be used by the government to get people's perspective of how to deal with COVID-19 through appropriate and better policy choice. Level 3, involvement. The government involved the community in effort to handle and prevent COVID-19 through community groups, mass organization, other civil society organizations, and academics. Level E collaboration. The government and the community are looking for the best policy options and solutions in handling and preventing COVID-19. The government can collaborate with various universities and civil society organizations in order to increase public literacy about COVID-19. Level 5, empowerment. At the empowerment level, the government cannot use it because in emergency situation, the COVID-19 outbreak. In an emergency situation, the government needs to use its power to control and approaches to prevention and handling of COVID-19. Active and passive participation still needed in adaptation of new habits. During the COVID-19 pandemic has been discovered, public participation in COVID prevention still needs to be improved, especially the application of social and physical distancing, using masks while out of home, washing hands with soap. To ensure the effectiveness of policy, the government should remain ensuring community involvement in prevention of the COVID-19 pandemic, both active or passive participation. In the context of active participation, the government should be opening to the community. Public engagement should be necessary. The government should not ignore the community aspiration of policy alternatives and handling COVID. In the context of passive participation, the government should ensure the community to participate in prevention of COVID-19 through control of state device without adequate control of state tools. Community participation in prevention of the COVID-19 pandemic is difficult to implementation. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you, Prof. Toto. Yeah. Yes. I would like to emphasize on the word effective communication to promote communication by using e-participation, because the A participation are really what we are doing now. So thank you, Mr. Toto. So let's move to the next keynote speakers. As you might know that Professor Turai from Uzbekistan cannot join today's seminar because of COVID-19, and currently he is hospitalized since yesterday. Let's hope and pray he will be recovering soon. Yeah. So let me invite Professor Pensri from Khon Kaen University, Thailand. Prof. Pensri, are you there? Okay, let me summon her. Okay, while waiting for Prof. Pensri, I'd like to, hi, there's you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, how are you?
Morning, how are you?
Yeah, very good. Good
Thank
time
you.
in
Finally.
Thailand. And
Yeah.
how are you?
Good, good, very good. Thanks for making and joining today's seminar. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you very much for honorable invitation to join your conference.
I remember some student from Khon Kaen University come to Umsida several months ago before pandemic, and before the program ended, we work hard to to make sure that they are safe, and more importantly, we have a chance to grant their wish to go to Bromo Mountain. I think that's a good chance.
Yeah, yes. Good time, very good time. I miss your countries and I miss friends there.
Okay, so yep, Miss Prancy, you have 15 minutes to present your speech. I hope
Yes.
you're ready now. Yeah.
Okay.
Time is yours.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, please.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yeah, greeting from Thailand, from Khon Kaen University. The topic I would like to share with you all for today is a new normal marketing, impact and adaptation. Okay, I will try to keep my time 15 minutes to do presentation. This is the outline of my presentation. I would like to give you briefly about introduction, and then I would like to show you about how consumers respond to the crisis and adapt to the next normal. And the third subtopic is marketing after COVID-19. And then finally, I will share with you tips for marketing after COVID-19. So from the information and from the circumstance we are facing around the world right now, we know that scientists are predicting some form of social distance need to happen until 2022. So next 2 years from now, we still facing with COVID-19. And from the study in America and in Canada, it was agreed that the crisis will create a new normal and have a lasting impact on society. And it will change the consumer landscape. And consequently, the product strategy may need to significantly evolve to the reality of the post-COVID-19 world. And there is a renewed sense of caution as COVID-19 affect around the world, and the uncertainty from COVID-19 persists throughout the globe. Its impact is felt differently across countries. I will show you it might not the same around the world, but some similar, but some differences. Consumer sentiment and behavior continue to reflect the uncertainty of COVID-19 crisis. As a result, there's a significant variance in how consumers respond to the crisis and adapt to the next normal. So we can group the consumer response to the crisis and adapt to the next normal. We can divide to be 5 groups of the consumer response. The first one is cheap to value and essential. The second one is shock to loyalty. The third one, homebody economy, and flight to digital, and lastly, holiday outlook. So I will give you information briefly for each group of the consumer response. For the first group, The consumer shift to value and essential. Consumer sentiment vary greatly across the country impacted by COVID-19. You can see like we have information about Indonesia, China, India, US, Germany. We compare this information, compare countries around the world to see the consumer response about shifting to value and essential. Consumer in China, India, and Indonesia consistently report higher optimistic than the rest of the world. This is the information from the research. I'm not so sure you can confirm me. Is this true or not for Indonesia consumers? Why those in Europe and Japan remain less optimistic about their country's economic condition after COVID-19? Except for Italy, optimism has declined throughout European countries in line with the rise in the confirmed case since late July. So we can see like the case, the affected case is high, go highly from late July. And the divergent sentiment is also reflected in the spending intent across country. So in most countries, consumers intend to continue shifting their spending to essential while cutting back on most discretionary categories. This, even in Thailand, consumers intend to cut some kinds of like luxury products. They have to spend just the essential things for their life. This is the first response consumer. And come to the second one, shock to the loyalty. It can conclude that loyalty is going, is not the same. It's not the same to, not the same as in the past. The consumer try new shopping behavior since COVID-19. They intend to, you can see from here, the consumer behavior by trying different shopping behaviors and expressing a high intent, 65% or more to incorporate these behaviors going forward. However, the change has been less pronounced in countries with a moderate degree of economic shock, such as Germany and Japan. Depend on the country, but the trend of the consumer are trying different shopping behavior. They change their behavior, and the loyalty, have no loyalty in the future. Maybe this research conclude that. And they're trying a new brand in the past 3 months. You can see what the criteria for their new shopping. Value, you can see value. Value is the first criteria or the first factor for choosing the new brand. And the second one, you can see the blue one. The second one is the availability and the quality. This is the factors, the important factors for them to buy the new brand, to buy the new products. The price, so the price sensitivity, the value remains the primary reason for the consumer to try new brands as well as new place to shop. Aside from the value, convenience and availability are the most often cited at the top of the consumer decision. Go to the homebody economy. From this slide, I can conclude that the consumer around the world are at vastly different state of returning to the normal activity. So the population around the world not yet engaging with out-of-home activities. They have to stay at home. They try to cut the activity out of their home. So some activity provided by the business have to change their strategy, have to change their activities, because the consumer stay at home, the consumer not engage with the out of home activity, vary by the category and the country. For Thailand right now, because the situation in Thailand is very good right now, so there are some kinds of activities out of home for the consumer, for the people. But compared to the past, just like just a small population proportion to join the activity out of home. Okay, so okay, I go to the conclusion. The conclusion of the home body economy. The country with stricter government lockdown measure have the lowest percentage of consumer reporting that they have resumed normal activity. Okay, fly to the digital group of consumer response. More people expect to make a portion of their purchase online post COVID-19 than before. This is true, especially in Thailand. The percentage of purchase online is higher, much higher than in the past. All things of their life, their daily life, they purchase online, especially for the people like us in the university. We can see like a Grab, we can see like Panda Food, the food delivery around the university every day, because most of the people order or purchase all things online than before. So the shift to digital persists across country and category as consumer in most parts of the world keep low out-of-home engagement. Food and household category have seen an average of over 30% growth in online customer base across country. Okay, come to the holiday outlook. Consumer in most countries plan to reduce holiday spending, except in China. This will affect tourism industry a lot, because we could not have the plan to do holiday like we have done in the past. So you can see from the graph, you can see from the slide. Between 30 and 60% of consumers expect to shop online for holiday shopping. Holiday shopping channel preference is higher than in the past. So compared to last year, consumers across the world plan to reduce holiday spending. The flight to digital and omni-channel will be prevalent during the holiday season. Okay. So what happened to the marketing after COVID-19? So if we see the graph, taking a closer look at the sum of data from this strange time, to give us an idea of scope of the problem. Naturally, there is developing and over-changing situation. The numbers are more fluid than normal. You can see from here. And the graph shows slightly trend in both business and consumer behavior. The business metric that are assessed deal created and deal closed show a downward trend and highlight the instability of the economy and buyer behavior alike. Okay. And this means that as things continue to improve in the business world, entrepreneur or the marketer can capitalize on starting the post-COVID-19 marketing campaign early. We will focus the marketing strategy, the new marketing strategy, the email, marketing email in Thailand. Marketing email is very popular right now. And not only are they sending more email, but the people are also reading their email more than the previous baseline. So right now we are on like the screen, the computer screen to read the email. This means that there is at least some silver lining for marketing in this strange time. So it means the marketer have to change their strategy and have to change their media to contact with the consumers. Okay, so come to the tips for marketing after COVID-19. I can show you just some kinds of marketing tips. For the first one, talk about the safety measure, tell the consumer about the change to the service. Most of the business, especially in Thailand, they have to change their service. So they have to tell the customer about their change, what their change, what the benefit the people, the consumer get from their change. And they have to relate more to the customers, keep budget concern in mind, to cut off some kinds of cost to maintain their profit, to use additional channels and marketing after COVID-19 takeaway. Okay, I show you briefly about the safety measure are taking. The marketer have to not only show them the entrepreneur care about the safety, but they also give the people the idea what to expect when they do business with brand in the near future. You can see from the example, the Dunkin' Donut, they put the word "stay in safe," and they have some kinds of the label to talk about what they do and what they have to take care of the customer, what the health protocol and safeguard, social distancing, and whatever. Okay. And the marketer have to tell the customers about their change, what their change. A lot of business change their workforce or cut back on some of the product line. They have to stop selling some kinds of product. So why they stop selling? Why they stop production for some kinds of product? They have to tell the customer to make the customer to have a clearer understanding about business. They have to change the form of like shipping time and product availability or pricing, and whatever they change, they have to tell the customer. And the marketer have to relate more to the customer, like they have to make the customer feel like we go together. We have to help each other. Using personalization, emotional image, and heartfelt text will do the trick. Consumer reworking some of the existing marketing email to meet the current. Okay, you can see like the company is offering its subscriber some nice product to cheer them up to a little during this strange time, like to take care for the customers' feeling, and to help and to give them some kinds of good word to cheer up the customers, and to keep budget concern in mind. So to have to be carefully use the money for any activity. And it's good idea to look for a marketing platform, the multi-channel support to do marketing campaign, and to use additional channel for example, to use like SMS, to use like some kinds of new channel. Because in Thailand we use Line, we use Twitter, IG, Instagram. So this free platform will be used for marketing channel. And the social media channel have to be used more for contacting to the customer. Use the chat, the online chat, the chatbot for like make the cost lower. Okay, this is the Instagram post from the trader. This is the example, Trader Joe's. They use the Instagram post from the trader, like to make the people about their activities. The message was sent to the customer. This is easier than in the past. Facebook is one of the most popular in Thailand. They use the Facebook a lot around the country, and the people in Thailand, I can say that about 80% of the people in Thailand use Facebook. Instagram was lower than Facebook. So many marketers in Thailand, many business in Thailand use Facebook to contact to the customer, to be the good channel to do marketing, to send a message to the customer. And keep in mind that the business doesn't need to entirely revamp marketing material, but rather than adapt them to meet the current situation. The marketer have to keep business going, and they need to cut off some kinds of danger for the people, some kinds of the bad attitude to the people. So something we have to take away, something we have to cut off. Communicating is more important than ever than in the past. So what does marketing learn from COVID-19? Every business needs to use e-commerce and delivery more. Business already marketing online can grow faster. Digital marketing strategy can the best reach customer. Existing customer have to fastest and the most effective effect on brand marketing. We have to do branding more than in the past, because the people choose the product from online. So if we could not reach them, we could not compete to the other competitors. Company that already hold customer data have an advantage. Data analytics, big data is one of the most important right now for the business to analyze the data, analyze data about consumer behavior. A good reputation is a cost that builds customer confidence. Marketers have to adjust their strategy to the right page, right people, and right time. This is important. So this is my presentation. If you have any question, please.
Yep. Thank you, Prof. Pensy. I like to emphasize from this one that even some scientists are predicted that some form of social distancing may need to happen until 2022. And we do hope that we can face it and work normally. However, we have to ready to any situation and condition. And I agree finding the data that Indonesia already adapted the way of online shopping because of pandemic. And consumer in China, India, and Indonesia consistently report higher optimism than the rest of the world. There are some questions here. Prof. Pensy, one or maybe two. The first question is, sorry if I miss it, I cannot find Thailand at the list. Is it out of the top 13 country on the list or just not listed? That's the first question. And then the second, how about the holiday situation there for the citizen and foreigner?
Sorry, where are you? Again, please.
Okay. The first question is, once again, sorry if I miss it. I cannot find Thailand at the list. So you mentioned China, India, UK, Brazil,
Oh,
but
oh okay.
Or not listed?
Yeah, because it's not the Thailand research only. We got information around the world, but Thailand is not the representative for like information I show you. But we have some Asian countries, right? China, India, and Indonesia. Because Thailand is small, it's quite small, and information that I collected not have Thailand in the research.
Is it not listed or not belong to these top 13 countries on the list?
No, I have no Thailand in the list for this information I collected, but I can explain and I can give more information, especially in Thailand for you, but not in the list.
Okay, because it relates to the second question. How about the holiday situation and policy, especially for citizens there in Thailand and foreigner?
You mean in Thailand?
Yeah.
Okay. In Thailand right now, because we can say that we are at the very good stage right now. We have no affected patient in our country. So the government promote tourism, domestic tourism a lot. We have many activities to support the government support to the tourism industry, the restaurant, the hotel. We have half and half activity, half and half promotion. It means when you go for traveling, you pay 50%. You pay only 50%, and the government pay 50%, half and half campaign. So it's a very good campaign to promote higher percentage of tourism in Thailand. But for the foreigner, for the foreign tourists,
especially from Indonesia.
Yeah, from Indonesia, we still open for foreign tourists, but the tourists have to follow the regulations of the state, of the government, and they have the campaign increasing the number of foreign tourists little by little. For example, this month they open to the foreign tourists about 1,000, and for next month it might be increased to be 2,000, 3,000, something like this. But it is like the stage of trying to do, try it out to see what happens if we open for foreign tourists little by little.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. One more question, actually. This is from Supiana Dian Nurcahyani. I think this is for you. The question is quite short. Ms. Pensri, is there a simple best practice marketing after COVID-19? This is a student's perspective. Perhaps you can give a simple best practice marketing during the COVID-19.
The simple marketing strategy after COVID-19, I think it for me and from my study, I think we could not go back to the normal life, the normal strategy like we have done in the past, especially for the new generation, the next generation. Right now, they spend their time a lot on social media, on online. In Thailand, I can see that my students and the youngsters around Thailand, they have mobile phone, they have tablet. They go everywhere with mobile phone, with tablet, and they use it like it is like their body. So I think after COVID-19, we still have continue using the social media. We still have to use e-commerce. We still have to use delivery for supporting our strategy. And we have to find the good and a better platform for using it for like keeping the profit and keeping the revenue sustainably. And I hope that in the near future, it will have more platform, some more platform to happen to the world. Because I have a collaboration with Alibaba Business School. Alibaba Group is under Alibaba Group in China. And right now we have some courses, online courses we learn from the Alibaba platform. We know that they are on the stage of develop their new platform to the world. So I think the marketing in the post-COVID-19 will be a lot of various tools, various channels, various activity and various online things for the next generation.
Thank you, Prof. Pansy. So well, this is the end of the presentation session. Thank you for all speakers. Thank you, Mr. Toto. Thank you, Ms. Pansy. Give applause for both presenters.
Thank you very much. I hope to get back to Indonesia soon.
Yeah,
I miss you all. I miss Indonesian food, and I miss a lot of things there. It's very impressive for me to be here and to be your friend. And hopefully you will send your student to visit to Beijing at my university soon. For example, if we are facing with COVID-19, you can ask them to join or to learn from Khon Kaen University via online. We have some courses open for the student online. So please contact if you have any inquiry. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you very much. So let me hand over the screen to the MC. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Wahyu, and also all of the speakers, the international speakers. Thank you very much. Let's give a very big hand for all the speakers. And of course, we really miss the situation when we can gather in a very big place and we talk each other, talking about the university and other university. It's gonna be very interesting. And we still can wait, right? We can wait until this COVID pandemic is over. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the closing statement given by the chairman of the Icigr, before. Okay, we're going to listen to the announcement of the publication and presentation, and it will be delivered by the Science Publication Division of Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. Mr. Tanzil Multazam, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity for sharing the paper workflow and presentation model in Icigr 2020. So in the Icigr 2020, we use a virtual presentation, not live presentation, which means that the presenter is send a video or poster and their PowerPoint, and we will proceed the video, poster, and PowerPoint to the platform that we created. Like video, we posted to YouTube channel of this conference, and the poster will be posted in the Instagram of this conference. And the PowerPoint will have DOI or digital object identifier in community Zenodo. And all of that material presenter will be have DOI2 in the community Zenodo. So, okay. As you can see in the slide, there is a timeline, like a selection of the submit video, submit poster, submit PowerPoint, and the submit full paper. Full paper. Okay, let's submit full paper maximal is 15 November 2020. We hope all the presenter will be send their full paper directly to Icigr email, icigr@umsida.ac.id, or in at schedule full paper in the PubEasy system. After 15 November, we still waiting the full paper, maybe 2 or 3 days, and will be continue to article production. Article production, all the full paper will be selected for journal indexed in Scopus. Some paper will be selected, or none of them will be selected. Selected number 2, it will be proposed to publish in the Atlantis Press with joint publication with other conference. Not all the paper will have this opportunity. And the third option is published to local proceeding series in Umsida proceeding series. This proceeding series will be submitted to Web of Science, Google Scholar, and having digital object identifier. All that process will be start in 18 November 2020. We hope all this process will be smooth process, and all presenters send their best full paper to us before 18 November 20. Thank you very much for this opportunity of sharing. I send back to the MC for the closing ceremony. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Pak Tanzil Multazam. That's all the announcement. That's all the announcement from the publication and presentations from the Science and Publication Division, especially in this occasion of ICIGR 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you all to fill in the attendance list on chat column, please. If some of you still haven't filled the attendance list, please fill in the attendance list on the chat column. The link has been published in the chat column. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we close these events, let's listen to the closing statement presented by the chair of the committee of ICIGR 2020, which is also as the director of the research and community service of Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. Dr. Sigit Hermawan, MSI, please.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I am Sigit Hermawan, Director of Directorate Research and Community Services at Umsida, and the chair of the committee of Icigr 2020. I say thank you for all speakers and then all participants, and for especially for the co-host from UUM, and then UHAMKA Jakarta, CC SPC Philippines, Konkain University Thailand, Universitas Pakuan Jakarta, Universitas PGRI Ronggolawe Tuban, East Java, Stikes Karya Husada Kediri, East Java, and the committee. Hopefully we can meet at the third ICIGR at 2021 next year, inshallah, and can work together again. Hopefully today meeting will bring blessing, benefit for all, and we are always healthy. Finally, by saying Thanksgiving, Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, I close the event for the second ICIGR 2020. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, from the research which has been presented by all the presenters and all this program today from the morning until this midday, we really hope that the research, especially this kind of event, can make the economic conditions can be revived while the health condition can be maintained for all over the world, not only in our country, but for all over the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so that's all the program of ICIGR 2020, bringing the theme Science for Handling the Effects of COVID-19, Facing the New Normal, and Improving Public Welfare has adjourned. Thank you very much for the participation today. Thank you very much. And please don't forget to fill in the attendance list on the chat column. The link has been provided in the chat column. Thank you. And we represent all the committee. So thank you very much for all your participation and your best participation in this event from the beginning until today, until the end of the meeting. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Bye.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Permisi. Assalamualaikum generasi pencerah, selamat datang di kampus pencerahan Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo.
Kali ini kami akan mengajak generasi pencerah untuk mengenal lebih dekat kampus Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidoarjo. Yuk!